Good evening, Hiren, Arinjay, Bharti. Hello, good evening. So we are going to be discussing about putting back to work a career in data science and analytics in detail. And we have our esteemed panelists here from top universities in the country. And we're going to be deep diving into careers of data science and analytics, and specifically how math as a subject is also an important aspect when we are looking at these careers. We'll just start with few introductions, dear students, and then we'll deep dive into the career discussion. Valerie, over to you. Let's start with the introductions.
Thank you, Soumya, and good evening to everyone. So I'm Valerie. I'm a career coach at Mindler, and I'll be introducing our speakers for today. So our first speaker is Professor Smitha Rao. She is an esteemed researcher and award-winning academician. She boasts about 25 years of experience and holds a PhD in intelligent agents, computer science. She excels in the curriculum development and classroom instruction with leadership roles as director, program chair, and HOD at renewed institutes. She has been an international speaker at MIT and a guest speaker and session chair at various international conferences. She has also received the UVM Award and Bain Innovation Challenge and has published 3 research papers in esteemed journals. We are delighted to have you, ma'am. Our second speaker for today is Dr. Kavita Deshpande. She has 20 years of teaching and 10 years of research experience in mathematics and specializes in representation theory, numerical linear algebra, scientific computing, and computer vision. She also holds a PhD in mathematics from Northeastern University, Boston, and has published papers on various topics. She was previously associated with Ferguson College and Chennai Mathematical Institute, and she has now joined Sai University to contribute to the computing and data science program as a faculty member. We're delighted to have you, ma'am. Our third speaker is Pintu Kumar, who is an educational psychologist, learning and development strategist, training facilitation expert, and coach, possessing 14 years of experience in industry experience and continuously aimed at building sustainable learning and growth for the organization and society by leveraging learned skills and knowledge. We're delighted to have you, sir. Soumya Tandon is also a senior career coach at Mindler, who will be moderating this session. She has pursued her master's from University of Delhi and her BA as well. So over to you, Soumya.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Valerie. Good to see our esteemed panelist here. So students, let's start with few questions and introductions to what data science and analytics is. So let me ask you, just type in the chat for me. What are some of the biggest companies in the world right now? Can you name some of the companies, the famous companies that we all know of? Just type in the chat. Okay, Hiren says Google, Apple. Absolutely, very interesting. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, TCS, very interesting. So see, our top companies, once we are noting it down, Samsung, of course, Komal, okay. Arinjay says Infosys, very interesting. As we are seeing Tata, wow, very nice, Isha. Tata is another one of the top companies right now. Lots and lots of names coming in here. If we see a pattern, most of them are tech-based companies. So one question to you, how are these tech companies earning money? How do you think, what are the ways in which Google, Microsoft, Meta, for example, earns money? Ragne is absolutely on point. Ad revenue, interesting. Any other things? How does Apple earn its money? Any products? Very interesting, Avi. So they have iPhone, they have various products, AirPods, services, product development. Hiren mentioned subscription revenue. Lots and lots of answers. So let's take up ad revenue as one example. Absolutely, Ishika. Targeting audience is very interesting. We are coming up to that. So when we look at targeted ads, there's some kind of data that these companies have. So if I am on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube, I'm searching something on Google, some kind of data is being collected and stored. Similarly, for every other person who's on this platform, some kind of data is being collected and stored. Now, out of this data, we are not just collecting and storing it. There is something going behind the scenes where data transforms itself into some meaningful information and ultimately knowledge. That knowledge can be used in different forms. So some companies may use it to target specific products and services. Some companies may use it to target to give you some of your preferred choices of articles. So it can be used in different ways, but that's where data analysis and data science is coming in. So how did we go from maybe KBs of data to now something called as big data as well? We are going to be discussing that in depth today. So I'll start with Professor Smitha. Professor Smitha, for students, how would you like to introduce the career as data science and analytics? What is exactly data science?
Okay, thank you, Soumya. What is data science? The name itself tells you that it's the science behind the data. So it's basically an highly interdisciplinary field. You require expertise in the topic our discussion today, math and stats. You need com science, computer science. You definitely need the domain expertise. So basically what is data science is trying to get some insights from the data that helps you in a good decision making, good, quick decision making. So you analyze vast amounts of data, which is humanly not possible to analyze. And then the decisions, the patterns, the correlations that you get from this data helps you to take a good decision. Okay, and this, as it goes over time, it improves itself. Okay, and as a data scientist, we concentrate a lot of technologies behind building these models and trying to get these patterns. So it is a subfield of a lot of fields. One of the subfields is, it is a subfield of artificial intelligence. That's what makes data science very, very interesting.
That's really interesting. So it's kind of finding the pattern in the data that we have and trying to study that pattern in a simpler way. And of course, AI, ML, the terms that we use, or even ChatGPT, the interesting one that has come up recently, that is an element where data science is coming as well. Professor Kavita, if we look at the topic, so we understood data science. How is it related to data analytics? If you could help us understand. And as a student, what's the difference like? Like if I'm choosing data science versus data analytics, is there a difference between the two?
Yeah, hi, Soumya. So the way I see it, I come from a math background, that kind of background. And for me, data science is basically what statisticians were doing all the time before big data came in. Okay? So the reason why we have so much of computing and programming now in data science is because simply in order to be able to handle this. So data science is a more sophisticated form of statistics. And if one wants to go into data science, I think you need a deeper understanding of the mathematics and statistics that goes into it. And to be able to apply the tools, of course, to be able to handle the data, to take it through various processes, you need some computing power, you need to know programming. Data analytics, on the other hand, is where you are specifically concerned with drawing inferences from the data. Okay, so you are probably not interested in just seeing, okay, which can I apply these 5 models? What happens? What are the observations? But you want specific for your specific situation. So you probably need a lot more data domain expertise if you want to be a data analytic in data analytics. For example, if you're in business data analytics, you need to have some knowledge of how business is run. Okay. Whereas if you're into a pure data science stream, maybe you're an ML engineer or something like that, one of those, then you may not necessarily have domain knowledge. Okay. This does not mean that data scientists don't have domain knowledge. It means that your work doesn't probably require you. However, for data analytics, depending on the industry that you're working in, you necessarily require to also have, so there is business analytics, there could be financial analytics, there could be, insurance related stuff. There's biotechnology. So in all these fields, you necessarily require some domain expertise. So from my point of view, I think that's the difference between being a data scientist and being a data analytic, being in data analytics, where you are probably working in some field, in some domain, and you require some domain expertise also to go with that.
Right. So in data science, it may be purely from a data and understanding the data perspective, but in data analytics, there can be business or there can be other domain knowledge which comes up with our data science knowledge as a hand.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this field of, for example, this is called as precision farming.
Okay.
In agriculture, there's a huge application. So then you necessarily need to have some information, some knowledge of how crop seasons work or what goes into growing a crop. Or if you're using weather data for making predictions, then you have to have some understanding of meteorology and how weather prediction works. So that would come into data.
That's really interesting. So it can be business, it can be agriculture, it can be any other domain, but that's where the knowledge is being applied as well. Mr. Pinto, one question over to you. So when we are looking at data science, we are trying to understand the difference between data science and data analytics. Can you help us understand even deeper in terms of some real life examples or how data science is being used in the industry currently? So as you're from the core tech industry, if you could elaborate a bit more on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk from the application perspective, and I am talking to young generation who use a lot of social media apps today. And when we asked for top companies, people have listed a lot of companies. So I'm sure, audience, you can tell me yes or no in the chat. Have you used OTT platforms? Yes, the answer is yes. Do you want to share which is your favorite one? So much expected, right? So there's a reason why it is the most watched and the favorite one. There's a reason why. And one of the reasons, if I don't want to reveal, but ask all of you, do you want to mention what is that one reason on the interface that keeps you attracted on Netflix? Or you want to always comfortably visit Netflix? And the answer there is personalization. And this personalization does not happen magically. It is data science, right? So it begins with basic step of asking you, what kind of genre would you like to watch, to what kind of languages do you prefer, and what kind of movies do you prefer, right? When you provide such information to Netflix, Netflix does an initial level of analysis by taking all these variables of data, right? When it takes all these variables of data, fundamentally what's happening out there is a bit of analytics, all right? By using a recommendation system, and recommendation system is built using data science. All right, so data science gets used, all the components of data science gets used in analytics to make business decisions, like Professor Smitha mentioned, in terms of quick and faster decisions, like Professor Kavita mentioned, that a domain knowledge is required, right? So for Netflix, they need two things. One is recommendation system, which comes purely from data science, and they also need knowledge of movies, film industry, series, all right? Entertainment, fundamentally. I'm talking from digital entertainment perspective. So Netflix needs both of them. Data science and domain knowledge put together comes in analytics out there, and that's how they are able to personalize content for people. Another quick example on e-commerce is that when you try to buy a pen, you get a suggestion that people who bought pen also bought, let's say, a book, all right? And there is a component of psychology also. And if you really want to study, please go back and check what is the background of the godfather of AI who recently quit Google. He has a psychology background. All right, so there is that fine element of psychology which rarely gets spoken, but please understand that interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary education promotes learning all the other stuff, because when it comes to data science, there is not just math, statistics, or domain, but there is amount of psychology also.
That's really interesting. So it's not just only about maths and statistics, there's psychology. Like the Netflix example is quite relatable, that the movie knowledge is also important, that the number of movies and my personalization depending on what I'm seeing more. So those categories also become a major role here. Very, very interesting, Mr. Bindu. Thank you for sharing this. Professor Smitha, a question to you. So we've been seeing lots of new age trends right now, like ChatGPT, Google Bard, lots of other interesting softwares have come up, and there's a discussion that there's a paradigm shift happening through ChatGPT currently. So what's your opinion on this and how it's changing the industry currently?
Yeah, a paradigm shift, definitely, yes. Like you mentioned, ChatGPT, Bard, there are so many of those, text summarization or LLMs, large language models that we call them. They are assisting humans, I would say. They would never replace. That's another debate anyway. They would never replace, but you can see their inputs into various domains. Be it education, be it into the IT industry, banking sector, healthcare, and healthcare, anywhere. You would find that all these applications are far stretched. The reason is because every domain today generates data, whether it is user data, IoT sensor data, or any form of data. So when they have so much massive amounts of data, it is not even possible for even a normal model to actually go through them. So if a large language model like chatbot helps a person to do some of his work quickly, it's a good thing. But my suggestion would be do it with reservation, because not all the things that any of these LLMs would give would be perfect. And like I said, they can never replace humans. Now, unlike the age-old systems of recommendations, today the recommendation systems are very, very powerful. And I mean, it's not like your Google that you type something and it gives you something. They're very contextualized. Unlike Google, which is not context, you're chatting with the system, and it makes you feel that you're chatting to a human, though we should realize it's not a human. Now, like ChatGPT, there are a lot of other tools. For example, there is DALL-E, which converts a text to a visual. Okay, so and a lot of other things like this, Canva, and all these tools that are available today. Now, how do we use them? Especially in an education industry, how do we stop students from using a ChatGPT or a DALL-E? Or what are the plagiarism issues? What are the copyright issues? When I get a document from these? Yes, all these requires new data policies that should come in place. But I think though the paradigm shift is there right now, we would see a lot of other things in future. I'm seeing positive things in future.
So there's a paradigm shift and there's a positive change in the future, so to say. But of course, it is coming up with our challenges in terms of policies also, because with ChatGPT, there can be copied text for a lot of students. Very easily, they can just type in and get the answer. And it may not be correct as well. As you mentioned, that the data can be older or the data cannot be as accurate as what we want exactly as our query. Of course, it's helping us, but it may not be the full solution, and it cannot replace human beings. And that's your opinion here. Okay, Professor Kavita, similar question. So as we are seeing these new age trends, so what's your experience in terms of how these new age trends are changing the industry? And one of the students, Nishant, has also asked, like, what is the future of data science and analytics? Is it going to be used less in the future or more in the future? So what's your opinion here?
Thanks, Soumya. So I think I'll take the question from the attendee first, and then I'll come back to ChatGPT. So whether data science will be used less or more, I think it will definitely be used more, not less. But the way it is being used will definitely undergo change as generative models become smarter, as deep learning becomes smarter. There will be mundane tasks that data scientists do these days that will be replaced by these models. So some mundane tasks can be replaced, so things become faster. However, what cannot be replaced is the analysis that the human mind brings to this. A trained human can bring to the picture. Okay. So I would say yes, data analysis will go ahead, but no, I mean, it won't be sufficient to just train yourself in running one clustering model, and so saying that some so there is also this you can do a 6-month course and call yourself a data scientist, okay, but you can also go, undergo a proper 3 or 4 year program. So what's the difference between these two? So those are the differences that will get played out as these models become smarter. Okay. So that's the answer to that question. I think it will increase, but of course the nature will change how industry, because finally industry will also go for usage of models where they can replace models with humans. Where they can replace humans with models. So that is something to be kept in mind. You cannot do without a deeper understanding of what is going on. Just a surface learning of any of these ML techniques is not going to be sufficient. Then coming back to this ChatGPT. So now there is ChatGPT and it has taken off in such a huge way, but it's not the first GPT. So there were other GPTs before ChatGPT, and these kind of things, these kind of models have been in existence for a while now. Okay. So this one has taken off, and so now everybody is talking about it. Also, the training has been done in a slightly different way, so it's being more successful than the earlier versions of GPT. So as Professor Smitha mentioned, it has these challenges of plagiarism is an issue, IP is an issue, intellectual property issues are there, and of course teachers are worried about whether students will use it to copy, and so on and so forth. But yeah, as she mentioned also, you have to be very careful about the outputs that ChatGPT gives you. They are not necessarily always correct. They are not necessarily always citing the references. So for example, if you try to write a research paper using ChatGPT, you don't even know whether the sentences you have written are correct. Do they make sense? And second of all, you don't know if they have been copied from somewhere, and you're just putting them in without citing the resources. Okay? So those are big issues. The third thing that I myself experimented with ChatGPT. So there's this theorem called orbit stabilizer theorem, and it's a theorem in mathematics. And well, if you ask ChatGPT to give you the proof, it does give you the proof because proofs are available in so many textbooks. Okay, so definitely it will have seen it somewhere, and you get the proof. Then you ask it a question about one of the steps. Okay, so why does this step occur? Now, if it was a math teacher explaining it to you, the math teacher could give you a 1-sentence answer for it. Okay, it was that simple a question. When I ask this question to ChatGPT, it gives me about 25 lines of explanation why that thing is true. Now, that explanation is not necessarily false, okay, but it's a very roundabout way of going. So it's too wordy. That's one thing that I've noticed with ChatGPT is it's too wordy. Okay, it tries to get you to the right answer, but I think it aggregates from a lot of sources, and it becomes too much. Things that can be answered quickly. So that is also something to keep in mind. It is the students in our university gave a talk about ChatGPT some time ago, and they did this interesting exercise where they had 5 passages. So there were 5 topics and passages written by students and passages generated by ChatGPT, and they asked us to, the instructors also, the professors were also there in the talk, and they were asked to differentiate. Can we differentiate between what's been written by a student and what's been generated by ChatGPT? Now, in some cases, it's very difficult. Okay, some cases, if it is some technical stuff that you can find easily online, then it is very difficult to differentiate between what a student has written and what ChatGPT. But if it's a personal matter or it's an opinion piece, okay, then it's not so difficult to differentiate, because ChatGPT will try to make it so wordy and so roundabout, and that's what we have observed. Okay. And also, one thing that students should keep in mind is that it's not whether AI will take over the world, okay, or it's not whether ChatGPT will take over. It's about whether you will allow it to take over. Okay. So what happens when you resort to ChatGPT for essays is that you are stopping your mind from thinking and just resorting to AI.
Right.
And that you're giving the control to ChatGPT. Okay, maybe you could have thought about it. Maybe you have some creative ideas. You could have exercised your mind and put something down. But you're stopping and you're just giving the control over to the AI. So I don't think it's about whether AI will take over the world. It's about whether humans will let AI take the world. Yeah, so that's my take on that.
That's really interesting. And the example that you gave is very interesting, that if it's a technical answer, ChatGPT and human differentiation may be difficult. But if it's an opinionated question, then you can clearly see the difference between the two. And it can be even wordier, or the idea is that as a student, if I'm using ChatGPT, it's not that I should use it every time. My creative ability is also important, and how I'm developing my thinking in terms of logic, in terms of my understanding, that also plays a very crucial role. Of course, using it as an add-on to my knowledge, that can be a good plus for us here. Mr. Pinto, your experience in terms of the new things that have come up in ChatGPT and Google Bard, or any other new age trends where you feel a change or a paradigm shift is happening right now, and what's your take in terms of humans replacing AI? This kind of question often comes up in the chat as well. Someone has asked. So, what's your opinion there?
Right. Humans replacing AI, AI replacing humans.
Right.
Right. So let's understand a couple of things about GPT, or let's understand a couple of things about industry revolutions. All right. Right now, we are at Industry Revolution 4.0. What does that mean? We are moving from machines to automation. Right. This is because of a very nature of evolution, which is inflection. We are going to definitely face inflections, and it is not today, it is going to be forever. Today, it's Industry Revolution 4.0. Tomorrow, it can be Industry Revolution 5.0, right? Now, the question is, if pessimists, like anybody for that matter, could be including me, pessimists, like if I'm scared that AI will replace humans, so I'll not just use it, I'll stay away from it. You know what? These are probably rule followers, but there are going to be people who are rule breakers with negative intentions, can bring fear and problems to the society. So as we people should become responsible and optimistic, both together. So it's not the question of will AI replace humans or not. It's the question of, can we get ethical and responsible about AI? All right. So I think it's time we, for that matter, stop using ChatGPT for everything and anything. And end of the day, let me inform all of you. All right. Anybody who knows the expansion full form of GPT for that matter?
That's a really interesting question. Anyone in the chat?
There lies a lot of answers, so I'm just asking. Sound is not clear. Is that?
It's better now. It's better.
All right, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Please do not Google right now. All right. And do not use ChatGPT to know about GPT. So please tell me, generative.
Change something.
P
Okay.
kahan hai wahan pe? P kahan hai? Right. Pre-train. Yeah, it is. It is. And T? Generative pre-trained transformer. All right. And as Professor Smitha rightly said, it is a large language model. All right, so LLM. What happens here is it's fed with a lot of things and it is available for us to use it, but how we use it matters. And it's a generative AI. Let's understand generative AI is slightly, there is a thin line difference between AI and generative AI. All right. When it comes to generative AI, we have to put in a lot of ethics and responsibility. All right. So all of you, please just start thinking optimistically and start using all of these tools ethically and responsibly. And if you let it replace, it will replace. If you don't, it will not.
That's a really interesting take. That if we let it replace, then it can be. But otherwise, if we don't, then it won't. Thank you so much, Mr. Pinto. So, Professor Smitha, if we look at in terms of our subject choices, so if I'm a high school student, we have a lot of high school students here. We have discussed math, statistics, psychology as few of the subjects which would relate to this domain. So what's your insight on what subjects at the high school level can I take up or deeply explore when it comes to data science and analytics as a domain?
Okay, at a high school level, yes, like you said, math and stats, very important. Apart from math and science, stats, all the other courses like even economics, finance, accountancy, okay, all these courses do matter because it's not an island. Okay, data science cannot exist as an island. It doesn't even work like a silo today. There, it is completely multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, where we have to apply the knowledge of comp science into all this. So if I get a computer science expert with a knowledge on statistics, it's not enough. Though even if I get a statistician with a knowledge of computer science, it's not enough. So like Professor Kavita said, in 6 months, I can become a data scientist, learn the basics of everything. But that's not a true data scientist. If you want to have a real good career in data science, you should have a foundational knowledge in all of this. The practical applications of mathematics, the practical applications of statistics, how it relates to day-to-day life, and the general knowledge of the domain, whichever domain is it, whether it is economics, finance, psychology, design. We also have a lot of design students who take up data science, whether it is law, philosophy. In fact, there is a very good intersection between philosophy and data science also in actually forming the governance, the rules for data privacy and ethics policies. So all this comes into the picture. We have a lot of professional doctors today who are also working with data. So with a lot of things like data visualization, okay, they help in developing all of this. And in fact, at our university, we tied up with certain cancer hospitals to help the doctors to visualize the data that they get, because they get data from so many devices. They wouldn't know what it is. So at a high school level, if you have a foundational knowledge of even a very good biology, it helps a lot. Okay, and history, things like history, civics, geography, is help a lot. Geography especially. We have a lot of work that goes on in geospatial training. So if a person knows a lot of these things, it helps. And data scientist is not a person who works in a particular domain. You can have a data scientist working in a company like what Mr. Pinto said, Netflix. We have a lot of data scientists working in companies like Ola, Uber, Spotify. Okay, and what do? Because at the end of the day, whatever it is, it's numbers. Whether it is a data from any of the things, it's numbers. How do you deal with numbers? You can't just deal with numbers just in a rudimentary way. You have to have a context for it. That's the reason you need the domain expertise from this. So at a high school level, I would suggest a very, very strong foundation to math and stat. More than a foundation to math and stat, a love for math and stat. That's more required. Okay, it's not the proofs and the theorems and the percentages that students get, but it's more of a passion and relatability of math and stats and whatever domain they are interested in. And yes, computer science is very essential because all these models or analysis cannot be done without the foundational knowledge of comp science.
All right. So math and statistics, love for math and statistics in short, and computer science knowledge is definitely very helpful. And Professor Smitha, the interesting thing is with data science, the usual image comes as sciences. But as you correctly mentioned, that any subject, any domain knowledge, it can be from commerce, business management, history, psychology, any and every subject combination along with math and computer science can be a very interesting combination to take up and start exploring that at the high school level. Professor Kavita, what's your opinion here that as a high school student, I'm taking up math for short, for example, I love math. Any other subjects that I can club along, any other skills that I can build at my school level to explore my career in data science?
Was that for me? Sorry.
Yes, Professor Kavita. This is
Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm having some internet issues. So I didn't catch you really well. Can you please repeat the question?
So I'll just repeat the question. So as Professor Smitha mentioned regarding math and computer science as subjects that we can take up, what's your opinion on the subjects that students can take up or the skills that they can develop during their high school level to explore data science and analytics as a career?
I would like to make a slight differentiation between subjects that you study and skills that you learn. So as far as it goes, subjects that you study, well, my real advice would be study what you like and do it really well. Okay. At high school, see, let me give you my personal example. I was really bad at math in school, in high school. Okay. In fact, at that time, if somebody had told me I'll be a mathematician going ahead, I would have laughed off the idea. I absolutely did not like mathematics because I did not understand it, because I didn't understand what or why things were going the way they were going. Okay, but this all changed when I went into my undergrad, and I really started to love math in my second year. That's when I really got into math. And I got into it in such a big way that I wanted to go ahead and do a PhD. And now today, I'm a mathematician, computer scientist, data scientist, all rolled in one. So I wouldn't really, from my personal experience, at least, I wouldn't advise people to just think, oh, I want to be this. And so, see, people are different. Some people are driven by that and they know what they want to do, and, they will try to focus on that. Some people are not like that. So, rather than beating yourself up to saying that I must like this and I must do this because this is what I want to become, I think it is important for each person to take a pause and think about what they like. Maybe somebody likes history more, and they can become a good historian. And with the data analysis tools, they can really analyze a lot of things going on in the world. History is required in a big way in politics, right? So, or international relations. So you can use data science skills there also. So, or you may be liking geography. So, you could be interested in something like remote sensing, where also data science is used in a big way. So with geography, you can do geology, you could be doing remote sensing, you could be doing weather predictions. There are so many things you could go into if you like geography and allied subjects. Okay, you could be liking biology, there's biotechnology going forward. So rather than trying to become a data scientist, that's something that you will have to do once you start taking a deeper dive into your own field. I think it is important for students to stop and see what they like. Okay, once I was interviewed a student who said that he wanted to be learning AI. Then I asked him, what is AI? And he didn't even know the full form. So I asked him, well, why are you interested in AI? He said, no, I'm not really interested. It's my parents who tell me. I'm really interested in chemistry. Please go ahead and study chemistry. It's a beautiful subject. Okay, so it's not that, data science is something that you will see everywhere. And when the time comes, suppose you are excelling in whatever field you are, when the time comes to use data science, you'll have real motivation to go ahead and learn it. Yes, it is true that you require mathematics and statistics and you require some computing skills. But you see, if you're really good in whatever you do, you will have the motivation to learn it. Today, doctors are learning some computer vision so that, they can analyze the images that they are seeing. Also, tools are becoming smarter so that you don't really have to go that deep into math and stats. So what my advice would be, find that field that you like best, and that that will ignite your passion and that you want to really learn and excel in that. And data science is a tool, data analytics is a tool that will come by when you're that deep into the field. So there is no, of course, maths and stats and computing are required to be able to deal with data. But I think it's more important for students to follow the subject that they like, study it well, and then take it forward. That would be my advice.
So as Professor Smitha had also mentioned, that it's playing with numbers, somewhere where we are closer to that. So whichever subjects we are comfortable with it, we can take that up and side by side build our skills on understanding quantitative data, understanding numbers, and applying them. So data science and analytics can be a tool to me if I'm from another domain also. It's not limited to only the sciences or the maths domain in general. But of course, if you have a really love for maths and statistics, as Professor Smitha had mentioned, so as Professor Kavita complimented, that of course we can take that up too. But if you are someone who is really scared of math, then of course we can see the different subjects combinations also, and that's perfectly fine. And still you can pursue data science and analytics as a career. Really
and I would like to add that all these new age universities, in fact, all three panelists that you have called here today are working at new age universities, which are making this kind of interdisciplinary learning possible.
Right.
So all these universities are trying to tell you that, you could be in any field. You could be doing data science and economics. You could be doing data science and psychology. You could be doing computer science and music. So these fields are very much related to each other now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So Mr. Bindu, a similar question. And as you had mentioned, psychology. So math, statistics, lots and lots of other subjects. So we want to have your opinion as a psychologist and how psychology is also related to data science and analytics.
Right. So let's talk about this. Of course, I'm not promoting any company, guys. All the examples are for knowledge purpose. All right. Back then, when I had to book a cab, all I had to do was call up a nearby agent and book a cab and make sure that the cab arrives. So there were too many ifs and buts and too many people involved in getting a cab and reaching a destination. But then this problem somebody wanted to solve. So the first problem they wanted to solve is the psychological problem, that is, people do not want to take multiple steps. Ease is one of the psychological requirements everybody needs to have. So there is a kick from the psychology that we shall ease people's life, right? Okay, so let's bring in what? An app that will facilitate cab booking. Great, good one. Meru came into picture. Meru, right? Bangalore. Can somebody tell me? Smitha, was it Meru? I think so, yeah. So 2009 or so, I was using Meru and I had to fill in multiple things just to get one cab. Of course, good app, awesome. Computer scientists have developed that app. Web developers, app developers have done it. Good job. Now comes a bigger question. I'll have to fill too many details. Half an hour in advance, again, it's a psychological problem, right? So to further ease it, Uber thought, let's use math. How many of you know Euclidean distance? Students
just type in the chat, yes, no.
Do you know? Right, no. Shortest distance, right? So they took help of Google Maps and they calculated distance between 2 points and they searched for the nearest cab using the Euclidean distance, right? Math came into picture and they tried solving the problem. The nearest cab, right? Euclidean distance, and they must be using other math concepts, but they used math out there. linear algebra for that matter, A plus B is equals to C, right? Looks like a very raw, dry equation, but let me tell you, today, when you type an email, if you have done it, you type 2 words, there is a third word prompt, not just on emails, but even if you use Google search, you type 2 words and there is a suggestion for the third word. So what the algorithms are told is when you see a combination of A and B, A plus B, please suggest a C. Of course, vector, let's not get into vectors and dimensions and blah, blah, blah. But all I'm saying is linear algebra, A plus B is equals to C. This equation is used for making suggestions of what could be the next word so that you don't have to type and you can search for results faster. So that's how I feel psychology comes and plays a lot of role. Moreover, beyond that, I would suggest please study law, please study ethics, please study regulations, all right, so that you understand what has to be used, what need not be used. Please use education about diversity, equity, inclusivity, all right, so that you're prepared for humanity. All right, so study such courses, study economics, study social impact, all right, so that when you make decisions to use AI, you will use it responsibly. So if you're aspiring to be a data scientist, make sure you have math and science background, statistics background, all right? A strong inclination for math and statistics. Beyond that, of course, data science or AI is domain agnostic. So there's a wider scope like Professor Smitha and of course, Professor Kavita also mentioned.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for clarifying this. Professor Smitha, I would like you to elaborate on Vidyashilp University. So what are the courses as a grade 12 student, if I want to apply, what are the courses that I can apply when it comes to data science and analytics? And what's the eligibility like? If you could just elaborate on the course eligibility and the admission process of the university for us. You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, at Vidyashilp University here in Bangalore, we have the entire university is and all the programs and the schools that have been developed in the university are geared towards data science. So we have 4 schools in the university. One is a School of Computational and Data Sciences. Then we have a School of Liberal Arts and Design. And then we have a School of Management Studies. And this year we are starting with the School of Law. That is a legal studies. Now, the beauty about the courses or the programs in the university are, irrespective of which program you take up in the university, you can do a data science minor. You would go through a semester of courses, around 6 to 7 courses of data science. So let's start with the first course or the first program that is completely geared towards data science. That is B.Tech Honors in Computer Science with specialization in data science. Now, this is a complete course or a B.Tech program, which is a foundational computer science degree, but it is an honors in data science. So you have everything related to data science here. Then you have courses. Let me look at the other courses that you have. You have BA, BMS, B Design in communication. All these courses, even if the students are doing and they are interested to do data science, they can have a minor and take up data science. Now, data science students, they themselves, if they're interested to apply their data science knowledge into any of their domains of their choice, like Professor Kavita and Mr. Pintu was saying, if they like psychology, in fact, most of my students this semester have chosen psychology as their minor. Then they have students who have chosen finance and marketing as their minor. There are students who have chosen even design as their minor. So we can have all these students coming up and they sit in the class along with the data science students, along with the B.Tech students, and pursue their knowledge on or their courses in data science. Now, apart from this, definitely we have PhD programs, again, completely interdisciplinary. We have PhD scholars working in 2 domains, for example, finance as well as data science, that is analytics, for their PhD program. So these are the courses. Now, coming up to their admission, you can have a look at the website. We do not promote a lot of things on, like I said previously, it's not the marks that are important. We look at the passion the student has. So they have to go through application. They have, I think, a Mindler exam that they take up. And then the application procedure starts. Then we interact A panel of faculties interact with the students, get to know the students to understand what are the courses they are interested, which is the domain, and what is their future, what do they want to do with whatever they're studying right now. We suggest the courses they can take up at the university, they apply, and there is nothing called a formal, like I said, we are not much into looking at the marks of a student. We are more looking at their extracurricular activities. In fact, we expect them to write a description of the non-academic work that they have done in their school level. We promote that actually. They can even showcase that in a discussion with the faculties. Okay, so that's the academic procedure. In fact, if you just look at the website, you can get all the details.
Thank you so much, Professor Smitha. And the idea of choosing a minor and major, that's really interesting. That if I am doing a data science degree, I can choose a minor in psychology, design, any of the fields that I like. And even the law part, that's actually coming up, which is much needed, but very rare to hear that law and data science coming up together. So that's really, really interesting. Professor Kavita, if you can elaborate for us regarding Sai University, courses and programs, admission process for the students, please.
Should we give an opportunity to Professor Smitha again? Because somebody asked her to repeat something.
Right. No worries. So students, in case you've missed it, this is going to be on our YouTube channel. The whole video is going to be available. So you can just go on the live section of our YouTube and view the complete video with the details. I'll also just share the university link wherein you can explore the website and courses in detail as well. Yes, Professor Kavita, over to you.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Soumya. So similar to what Professor Smitha said about Vidyashilp, Sai University is also a new age university. We have 3 schools. There is the School of Law, School of Arts and Sciences, and School of Computing and Data Science. So we have these 3 schools, arts and sciences. There are many BA and BSc programs that they offer in sciences as well as humanities. We have psychology, economics, physics, biology, literature, political science. So, and there is cognitive neuroscience. So these are some of the minors, some of the programs that the School of Arts and Sciences offers. And the School of Computing and Data Science offers 3 B.Tech programs. There's a B.Tech in computer science, there's a B.Tech in data science, and there's a B.Tech in computing and data science. That's like a double major in computer science and data science. So in all our programs, in whichever, except the School of Law, because the School of Law has some very strict, requirements under the BCI. So other than that, both in the School of Computing and Data Science, as well as in the School of Arts and Sciences, students can take their choice of major and a choice of minor. And these choices are interdisciplinary, does not have to be restricted to a school, but across schools. So, a student could be doing a computer science major with an economics minor or a biology minor. We actually have students listed for these kind of minors. Students could be doing a data science major with a psychology or, philosophy minor. Okay, and students who do computing and data science, that's like a double major. So we will say to them, look, be very careful if you're choosing one more minor, because that's going to be a lot of work. But of course, they have the freedom to try and do that, because it's already like a double major. On the other hand, students enrolled in the School of Arts and Sciences can do a computer science minor with us if they wish to. Or a data science minor if they wish to, with the caveat that if the students are coming without any math background, so 11th and 12th, suppose they have not taken math. So for these students, we do offer bridge courses, but it is mostly the students' responsibility to get themselves up to speed with the math they have sort of missed out if they have not taken in 11th and 12th. So we do allow students without the math and physics requirement to take admissions into the BSc Computer Science program. And we also have a BSc Data Science program. So if it's a BSc, it's a 3-year program. If you do a 4th year in the program, it becomes honors, BSc with honors. Okay. So there's a BSc in computer science, BSc in data science also, if you can come in, if you want to come in without math and physics. However, remember that if somebody comes without math and physics, then, first of all, they have to undergo the bridge course. And then second of all, they have to be ready to be, putting in that extra effort to come to speed to whatever mathematics is required of them in the following computer science or data science courses. So these are the kind of programs that we offer. It's very multidisciplinary. We are also planning this summer, we are trying to come up with a minor in law. So, students from any of the other schools can do a minor in law. Of course, students in law can also do a minor in data science if they want to, and if it fits what BCI requires. So that's the long and short. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Kavita. So we can choose double major and minor, and across schools also. So it's also very, very interdisciplinary in nature. That's interesting. So I can be from a humanities, social science, or a different background and choose data science or computer science as a minor. Even if I don't have math and statistics, I can still apply, but I'll have to cover up with the bridge courses and the speed of the classes that have been going on currently with the courses.
Yeah.
Right.
So we don't like have to stop people saying to them, okay, you didn't take this in your 11th and 12th, so this pathway is closed for you. That's not the case. If there could be students who find that after 12 maybe they want to move. So we do have students from a commerce background also coming in for a BSc CS or a BSc DS. So, but as long as they understand that they will have to put in the effort, that's fine for us. Is psephology offered as a minor? So we would love to offer psephology as a minor. In fact, we have Professor Rajiva Karandikar, who is one of very well-known psephologists in the country today, as a visiting faculty member. So yeah, if somebody is interested, we could request him to design a psephology minor.
Really interesting. Thank you so much, Professor. Mr. Pinto, as you're from Vijaybhoomi University, so if you could elaborate for the students the courses, eligibility, and the admission process at the university.
Right. So my dear students, my dear friends, the philosophy of education more or less remains the same. At high level, the word is transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary education, right? This is the word. And I think the future is going to be that. Even NEP 2023 promotes that. NEP 2023 even promotes practical education, right? So to bring that to life, all of us are aiming at following a philosophy where we allow students to take up transdisciplinary education, right? So having said that, let me talk about what are the schools we have, right? Just as a matter of fact, we have School of Music, who also offer, apart from the instruments, vocal, sound production courses, they also have something called as B.Tech in sound engineering. One of India's first, I think even world's, I think that's what I hear from music school, that is world's first B.Tech in sound engineering, right? So this School of Music, True School of Music, in fact. And the second one we have is School of Design, right? It's into everything that falls under design. Right? It's not specific to fashion designing or interior designing, it's bachelor's in design. Then we have School of Law, right? And School of Law dates back to about 25 years ago. We have something called as IFIM School of Law. We are in this education domain for about 25 years almost now. JAXOM School of Management and IFIM School of Law. These two schools are in Electronic City in Bangalore. That extends us to bring in multidisciplinary education through Vijaybhoomi University up here in Karjat, which is near to Bombay, right? So we have School of Law, we have School of Management, JAXOM School of Management, IFIM School of Law. And then we have INSOFI School of Data Science, right? We offer B.Tech in AI. And then we also have Vijaybhoomi School of Science and Technology, wherein we offer B.Tech in Computer Science Engineering. And we also offer B.Tech in Software Engineering. Right? Software engineering more focusing on the software side, but computer science engineering more focusing on both software and hardware engineering. All right. So these are the various schools we have at Vijaybhoomi University. All right. And we work on credit system. I'm not very sure if everybody's aware of what is credit system. Each of our courses have credit defined. And to complete a degree, they have to finish certain set of credits, making sure that the core courses are completed. Beyond core courses, they can take up other courses from other schools and earn credits to complete the minimum required credits for getting a degree here. All right. And not just limited to this conventional education that we have, we also offer physical education, and you can earn credits even for that. For example, horse riding. We have horses out here. You can learn to horse ride and of course develop your personality, but also get credits. You can swim and get credits. So we lay importance to physical education and physical fitment as well.
All right, that's actually something refreshing to hear, that if I'm into sports, I'm earning credit for my degree as well. And music engineering was also very interesting. So
Sound
that's my mistake. Sound engineering is also very interesting course, as you mentioned. So I've shared the link in the chat for all the 3 university students. They have very, very interesting courses, majors and minors combination. And as we've discussed, subjects and skills are something that we can explore right now at the school level. But when you're applying at Mindler, what we say is, our full form is mind, learn, explore, and realize. So the first step to think about when it comes to your career choices is learn and explore the careers that we are discussing right now. So today we've discussed data science and analytics. There's so many careers that we've talked about. We've talked about law, we've touched on ethics, we've touched on psychology. So lots and lots of careers, read more about them. That's our first goal. And the second thing is, after exploring, then realize which is the one fit that is one fit or 2 fits which are making sense for me. So which is my main plan and which is kind of my backup that I'm looking for after 12th. So Diksha, as you've mentioned that you are confused about your career choices, you love programming, but you want to explore which path to take, we can help you here. So just reach out to us at hello@mindler.com, just email us, and we as career coaches can help you and orient you as to which are the courses and pathways that you can take it forward. Of course, with all the universities, the best part is there are so many courses and career pathways to choose from. So all 3 universities here, as they've explained, they are interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary. So it's your choice and how you are entering into the domain as well. Secondly, students, if you see Professor Smitha, Professor Kavita, and Mr. Bindu also mentioned the importance of extracurriculars. So not just marks are important, or are marks the only criteria. Beyond marks and academics, whichever things you're doing to build your profile, any activity, sports, anything else that you are planning, that also plays a huge role in terms of your admission process and further your personality development during your institute years as well. So students, any last questions, queries, just type in the chat. Our team will answer. Quickly, for all 3 of our panelists, thank you so much for joining in. It's been really informative for all the students here, for us at Minder. Thank you so much, Professor Smitha, Professor Kavita, Mr. Pintu, for joining in and explaining us the difference, and with the technical knowledge, actually giving us the ethical perspective also. So what we're missing out is that there are ethical and public domain perspectives coming along with data science and analytics as a career as well. Thank you so much for this informative session. Thank you. All right, thank you so much, students. Any questions? Just type in the chat. The admission requirements for Vijaybhoomi University, we've shared the link, so you can check that out. Jeshna, you can of course do a diploma course in data science as well, but as we elaborated, there's a huge difference between a diploma and a degree course. So just focus on that as well. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot.